So I decided to call my album My Soul Mi Alma. First of all, I should answer to the fact that it's by bilingual name, My Soul clearly being in English and Mi Alma in Spanish. The reason for it was two things. First, it's a bilingual album. So I wanted to, of course, take both English and Spanish, because the music that you will find in the album is 100% bilingual, back and forth within a song, or every song really. The other was, I really wanted, when I chose the songs for this record, they were songs that reflected what I had been living through or in my journey for the past 3 years since my first album, Seguro en Ti. So these are songs that really reflect what's in my soul, what's in my heart. I wanted to really capture what God had been doing within me, the new things that He had been just dealing with me on a personal level. And in order for me to do that, I needed songs that would speak directly to my soul, and they had done that. And then, of course, in the actual live recording, I wanted to be able to connect people's hearts or people's souls to God's heart, and that was exactly what I did with My Soul Mi Alma. Seguro en Ti was my first album, and one that I'm extremely proud of. But with this new record, my sophomore album, it's called My Soul, and the difference between this record and the first project definitely would be that, first of all, it was recorded live. So you're gonna hear more of the, interaction of the live audience with me on this album. It's also bilingual. So that's a vast difference from the first album. The first album, Seguro en Ti, was 100% in Spanish. And this new album, of course, we flip it back and forth between English and Spanish, every song. It's what I've been doing for the past 3-4 years, not only at my church, but even when I travel and any opportunity that I've had to actually visit churches or any type of event. It's what I present. So I wanted to really capture that in this new album, completely expose who I am. I am born in Canada, of Colombian background, and I'm a worship leader at a Black Canadian church, So that's really the difference between this album and the first album. And I'm hoping that it's going to be able to connect a lot of people's souls to God. So how I selected the songs for this album was kind of really interesting, because of course, since my first album, Seguro en Ti, was released back in 2006-07, I had been given the opportunity to travel quite a bit. That first album opened up a lot of doors for me, and I thank God for all those opportunities. But in my travels throughout Latin America and even in Europe and in North America, I was able to really find songs that I knew that would connect not only my heart and my soul, but that I knew that would capture the church's heart to really connect them to God's presence. And that was really the focus behind choosing every song. Of course, the two singles that probably stand out the most to me are Grande es tu nombre. Grande es tu nombre was written by my friend Louis Vargas, wonderful producer, musician, songwriter, and just a really cool guy from Toronto, Canada, originally from Costa Rica. And it's a song that once he presented it to me back in 2005, actually, I said, I can't wait till one day I can record this. And this was the time to do it. And I'm extremely excited, and I hope that everyone can really, get the message and get the music, and that it will really bless many people. The other song that really stood out in my mind and that I knew I absolutely had to record was Healer, very well-known, big praise, song from Hillsong United, Carrie Job, and many others who have recorded and done an amazing and phenomenal job with it. I wanted to record it because it was a song that I really was able to connect through a personal process of healing, of my heart, of my soul, of my mind, and of my health. Just overall, from going from, being in a situation of desperation and pretty much depression, to really seeing God take me through that healing process and making me the new and whole person that I am today. So that was why we chose to record this song, as many others on this project. The production process for this record was absolutely tons of fun. I was able to work with people who are not only super talented, but great friends of mine. Roger Ryan, who is the lead producer of the album, straight from Nashville, and just a fun guy, super gifted, and to be able to, for him to really take not only what I liked musically, but really respect what I have, or what I have in my heart for my ministry and for this record. He was able to interpret that musically, and that was just an amazing experience. To be able to work with Renee Rowe vocally, someone who's just so gifted, so loving and so caring, to take the time was just an incredible experience. And then all the singers and musicians that I was able to work with, we had way too many laughs and way too much fun, and I would have never changed anything about it. It was just an incredible production team that I know was just the setup that God had to really truly make this album what I wanted it to be, which was just awesome. And I hope everyone enjoys My Soul Mi Alma. God has been incredible to me, and that was exactly what I wanted to portray in the message for this album. His awesomeness, his greatness, how he's been there for me through thick and thin, boy. I have gone through some serious stuff in my life, of both emotional depression to financial breakdown of my life. Pretty much every aspect of my life was touched at one point, that I thought there's absolutely no way, just no way, that I could pick up the pieces and keep going. But if it wasn't for God, and I know that sounds sometimes cliche to some people, but it's a real deal when it comes to me. If it wasn't for God, I truly wouldn't be here. And so I wanted to celebrate his greatness. I wanted to reflect songs that really spoke out to what is in my heart, to what is in my soul. Songs of joy, songs of happiness, songs of celebration, songs of overcoming some serious stuff in my life, but also songs that would connect people to, those intimate moments that I've had with God, those intimate moments to understanding what my identity process of understanding who I am as a person, who I am as a worship leader, who I am as a woman, and I am in my purpose with God. And I wanted to be able to make it as personal as possible, but yet make it a record that was accessible to the church overall. I wanted this to be your Sunday morning praise and worship album that connects you on a personal level to God, connects you on a personal level from your soul to God's heart, and that would really capture a time of from celebration to now let's get close to God. And that's really the message behind this album, and I really hope that people are able to connect that way. I speak 2 languages, and I'm definitely a fusion of many cultures, and I'll explain why. I was born in Canada, but my background, or my parents, are Colombian. So I was raised in a very Hispanic family, but I'm a worship leader at a Black Canadian church. And so the fusion of sounds, of culture, of genres of music is really what makes up me. I can't tell you that I'm 100% of anything, except I'm 100% of many things. And I actually like it that way, because I've been able to connect to both audiences, both in the English speaking as Spanish speaking. Of course, I'm bilingual, linguistically. And so I wanted to really bring that in the album as well. I wanted to show the fact that what I do on stage already or at church it's really who I am. I wanted to be able to not only show what I do already, but I really wanted to bridge the 2 cultures. I wanted to connect the African American or African Canadian stream of music and culture to my Hispanic heritage, to be able to bring them into how we worship, and then do that vice versa, to show my Hispanic brethren and heritage of the richness and amazing sounds of Black gospel music. And yet it all comes up in my own kind of way of how I interpret it. So I really wanted to do that. I love to connect to people on stage. I love to connect at different conferences. I get invited not just to sing in Spanish as your Spanish singer or in English as your English singer, but really I'm there to present that God worships, and He wants us to worship for the nations to worship, to be multicultural worship, to really do kingdom worship. And it's really just a preparation for heaven. So that's how I see my album, and I really hope that people are able to connect to it at that level, that they're able to see that many nations coming for one purpose and one reason, and that's simply just to worship God. I love to make music in the studio, but definitely I think my favorite would be to connect to people on a live setting. To be able to, incorporate my music, which is very live in infusions of sounds, and the call and response between the audience and of course myself as a worship leader is really what you're going to get. It's a very dynamic experience in my opinion. But most of all, I love to connect to people, whether it's at a church or at a conference level or at a concert. It doesn't matter. People are people, and we're here to serve and to love on people. I serve as a worship leader at my church, and I work very closely with the praise and worship department. And so I like to transfer all those skills as well to when I visit local churches. It's probably one of my biggest passions. And if I'm able to do that, whether it's with a live band or tracks on the road, we're gonna have a good time, a fun time, and ultimately just connect to God's presence.